It's time for Takes on Takes, the weekly episode where we give our takes on your takes today on the Locked On NFL Scouting Podcast.
You are Locked On NFL Scouting with the Draft Dudes, your daily podcast for NFL and college football scouting. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's better than this? It's guys, me and dudes here on the Locked On NFL Scouting Podcast. We're the Draft Dudes. I'm Joe Marino from Locked On Bills. He's Kyle Krabs from Locked On Dolphins, and we are your NFL experts here with you daily to talk team building across the league on the Locked On NFL Scouting Podcast with the Draft Dudes, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Want to issue a big thank you, shout out, and welcome to our everydayers. Those of you who never miss a single episode, we appreciate y'all being here very, very much. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can get $200 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins.
Joe, happy Friday.
Thank you.
To you. We're back in the saddle with the college basketball this weekend.
Yeah.
You more invested than last weekend. I think the Mets won. Yes, there's a lot of.
No, the Mets didn't win. They lost 3-1.
Oh,
yeah. Juan Soto was up at the dish.
Dude, that was because they won.
He was up at the dish, down 3-1, 2-on, right? Has a chance.
Ninth inning?
Top of the ninth inning. The Mets were the road team. He works it to a full count. And my guy swings that ball 4 and misses. The pitch was in El Paso, Texas. Strikeout to lose again. They gave this guy like $700 million. So I'm out. It's over. It's over.
Yep. We'll try again next year?
Yeah, we'll try again next year.
Yeah.
We're on pace to go 0-1, 62.
More games to go.
You know, look, it's over. It's over. Can't do this.
Takes on takes today?
Please. Yeah.
Let's do it. You are the take master. So
and Chris Schubert ghosted me. I sent him a text about that. He didn't want to say nothing about it. Ghosted.
I'm going to give him a hard time right now.
Yeah,
do you think he'll text back during the show while we record?
Yeah, let's find out. Yeah, let him say what was Juan Soto thinking swinging at that pitch?
Yeah, I can say what was WTF was Soto swinging at.
All right, we have he has 31 and a half minutes to respond. We'll start with this one from Aaron, who says, if I were a Giants fan, and he's not, I would rather start Jameis Winston over Russell Wilson. Neither is winning you the Super Bowl, but Jameis brings more energy, can elevate Malik Neighbors more, and brings more vibes every Sunday, and Lord knows they need it. Who doesn't like Jameis?
I think it was funny after the Russ signing was announced, it was already very clearly defined in the media that Russell Wilson's the starter, right?
Yeah.
Would I rather start Jameis Winston than Russell Wilson? That depends on how much I trust my run game to lean on. Like, I think there's inherent value in Russ not turning the ball over because he's very selective on his risks.
Yeah.
I think I'll lean into that. I think I'll say the ceiling of what you can be as a football team is higher with Russ because he'll still throw moonballs to Malik Neighbors, but he's not going to turn the ball over at 2x or 3x the rate that would be equal to what Jameis Winston turns it over at.
Yeah, I think that's actually a really good place to land. I think I could certainly lean into Jameis for a lot of reasons because Russ frustrates me a lot, but Jameis frustrates me a lot as well. But the not turning the ball over is kind of a big deal for that team that I think should be pretty good on defense. Now, I'm curious to see, are they really, is going to be Tyrone Tracy as their guy? Because I do think regardless of whatever happens at quarterback, it's going to be Russ. They got to be able to run the ball. They have to lean on that as their identity offensively. And I'm curious to see how that goes because Dayball's always been more of just a box counts guy, right? He doesn't have a dynamic run scheme. And so how do they deal with it, right? It's going to be interesting to find out. Oh,
Chris texts me.
Quick one. All right.
Very unideal swing selection for sure. Very rare of him to do that.
Oh, okay. All right.
And now I won't say anything back until he listens to the show today. And he realizes he was in a bit on the show.
Yeah. He didn't want to talk to me about it. All right. Pate says the Browns selecting Shedeur Sanders over Abdul Carter or Travis Hunter would be a massive mistake and set the team back 5 years.
Maybe.
But
I don't know.
maybe not, and he's a quarterback.
Right. And you've already done the thing that set you back.
5 years, literally.
Is literally,
Yeah.
Never mind the opportunity cost of what else the cash could have gone to, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. There's a part of me that feels like not getting that transition figured out is equally damaging to having a transition in place that doesn't work out in a best case scenario situation. I think the Browns' individual situation makes it, I don't want to say the win-win / lose-lose, but like, I think they have a very unique case to be made to draft the quarterback at 2.
Yeah.
Because of what their salary cap, cash burn, financial situation for the last 3 years and what the next 3-year outlook looks like for them. But they already doubled down on Myles Garrett, so I have no reason to believe that they wouldn't go with a veteran option anyway if it's more expensive.
I'm not in love with Shedeur Sanders as a quarterback prospect, but I will have zero criticism for the Cleveland Browns if they pick him at number 2. Zero. Because investing in quarterback, and I think the rest of their team's decent enough. I would probably be more concerned about Shedeur Sanders becoming a good player and not getting him than missing out on Abdul Carter or Travis Hunter. I think that's probably the angle I'd take here.
And even with, and I know some Browns analysts in the space have kind of made this argument, like, what's another pass rusher opposite Myles Garrett when you have Myles Garrett in turn is going to make your other pass rushers have better opportunities.
You can get a pass rusher. They're back up early second, 33. I mean, there's going to be a good pass rusher at 33. Mm-hmm. There's not going to be a potential franchise quarterback.
Will Jackson Dart be on the board at 33?
I don't think so.
Will Tyler Shuck be on the board at 30?
Does it matter?
I believe that's who Matt Miller gave him he did like a big mock.
Then we already do Brandon Weeden. This is the team. Like, this would be the one team I would expect of all of them to not want to have Tyler Shuck.
We haven't done the Tyler Shuck conversation, but I think the conversation there jumped the shark about 3-4 weeks ago.
Yeah.
So
this is a good one to kind of go right afterwards. Michael says this: Shedeur Sanders will have a Quinn. I'm thinking Brady Quinn / Aaron Rodgers like fall if he doesn't go 3 overall.
No, I don't buy that.
So this is fun. What's the floor for Shedeur Sanders if he gets past the top 3? Tennessee, Cleveland, the Giants,
New Orleans.
What about the Jets at 7? Is it impossible to think that's in play?
Possibility. I know the Dolphins did a lot of background work on him in the season.
How do we rule out San Francisco? Completely, right? Like, as a possibility.
Right. I'd be surprised with that one, but I mean, depending on what the Purdy negotiations look like, if they don't reach an amicable window in 4 weeks' time, like, leave your options open.
Is his absolute first round floor Pittsburgh at 21?
Probably.
And if that winds up being the case, that does prove the take to be true.
Yeah.
Because that would be the Aaron Rodgers situation.
Yeah.
Okay. Weekly Huddle says NFL prospects who are 24/25 in their rookie season is not a downside. You don't get as long with the player, but by the time you get to the end of the rookie contract, you can get a favorable extension done for your own drafted players by leveraging their age against them. I think this comes down to how ready the player is, right? Like, if you're going to be 24 or 25, like, you got to come in. We can't wait 2 or 3 years to figure you out. You got to come in pretty quickly and do your thing. I think there's some truth to what the take is saying, but you got to be ready to go.
Oh, then the player's just going to take a shorter deal, though.
Yeah.
The second contract's going to be a 3-year extension instead of a 5-year extension.
Which is pretty much the norm regardless of how old they are, right?
Right.
So
I don't know how much I buy, like, you can leverage the players, especially if it's after year 3. If the player comes in and they're gangbusters and they're awesome from the jump, now you're in age 27 season negotiating a contract extension potentially before a 5th-year option to allow you to bypass the 5th-year option or put a 5th-year option on and then negotiate on top of it. Like, I'm 27 years old in the prime of my career, and you're trying to leverage me and tell me I'm too old with my negotiation. I'm going to tell you kick rocks, right? Like,
you should have the expectation that the priority for them is going to be money, right? Because they're not going to have as much time to get it done in the league. So, all right, we're talking receivers, Pizza Hut, and the NFC North on the other side of it, folks. Be sure to stick with us. March Madness is here, and FanDuel is giving you the chance to get in on the action like never before. Right now, new customers can get $200 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. That's $200 extra bucks to use on everything from buzzer beaters to Cinderella stories and even who's cutting down the nets. You can pick your favorites. I've got my eye on a few underdogs this year, and FanDuel makes it easy to back them with spreads, totals, and game props. And you can stay in the action. With tournament games happening almost every day, there's always something exciting to bet on. Plus, it's easy and fast. The FanDuel app is simple to use. And when I win, I get paid instantly. There's no waiting around. So visit FanDuel.com and get in on the college hoops action all tournament long.
did you see the Purdue football peanut punch drill?
No.
Oh, my goodness. All right, I'm going to send this in the chat, and I want your live reaction to it. For anybody who's not initiated, it's in the chat in the studio room now. Peanut Tillman, notorious for the punch-out forced fumble.
Oh, this is cool.
Yes.
Yeah,
and
this is cool. Yeah,
and
cool.
they took one of the tackling donuts that you roll, and then you got to do the form tackle on the tackle donut, and they like bungee corded the football inside on the inside ring of the donut. So you have to, in a 3-dimensional plane, simultaneously punch the ball and wrap tackle at the same time.
You get what you emphasize. I like it. I like it. I like it. I like it.
I was really, it made me feel some things this morning when I saw that, when I said, that's the good stuff.
Good poll. Good poll here mid-show, Kyle. All right, let's get to this one from Jason. And it's kind of similar to one that we got. What's that?
Jason Derulo.
I think I know this guy. I've heard of this.
Is it Jason Derulo?
No, it's not. But you're not going to put me in the vortex that you did last week with the Tate McRae reference, who I've now become familiar with. Jason says no wide receiver in this draft. This is kind of crazy. Would have been taken in the first round last year. And the end of the first round, Xavier Leggett went, Xavier Worthy went, Ricky Parasol went. Come on now.
I think my guy, Pretty Ricky.
I'm not going to.
Pretty Ricky.
I'm not going to, but Matthew Golden's a better prospect than Xavier Worthy.
I think Emeka Egbuka is a better prospect than Xavier Leggett.
I think Ted McMillan is a better prospect than any of those players. Like,
I'm selling.
I passionately disagree with this. And it's funny, it's multiple weeks in a row where they're trying to get us to slander this receiver class. And no, it's not last year's receiver class. But let's not act like you can't get something here, you know. And I really kind of like some of the mid-round options if you're looking for certain types of skill sets. So
Tesla. Isaac Tesla.
Oh, Isaac Tesla.
Are you did you take that take for today?
No, I didn't. It didn't make the cut. Sorry.
Dang.
Sorry. Now you know how it feels for the other people that didn't get it picked. Vontel, we've gone completely away from defensive tackle takes. Now we're talking pizza. Vontel says Pizza Hut has always been better than Papa John's and Domino's. That includes, this is important here, the other food items that aren't just pizza as well. How would you guys rank them? First of all, I've never ordered anything from Pizza Hut, Papa John's, or Domino's that isn't the pizza. I don't even know what else is on those.
I'm going to DoorDash you some random stuff from Pizza Hut, like this weekend some point. This is going to show up at your front door. And it's going to be like the cinnamon, like the dessert pizzas. Have you had the dessert
I've had
pizzas?
those because I've been to Pizza Hut and had the buffet. So I've seen I like the dessert pizzas. Yeah, but
that comfortably trumps anything at any other pizza.
Those are good.
Right?
Those are good. I'm not going to lie about that.
Well, no,
those
I just mean the buffet in general.
Yeah,
I don't know if they still do it.
It's been a long time.
Ourselves.
Right, but dude, that salad bar was bomb, dude.
That's how they get you though. That was like when we went to.
I love salad, man. I do.
Went to Fogo de Chao at the combine, and they said they have that big deluxe, the salad bar with all the meats and the cheeses and the cottage cheese and the olives, and they want you to load up on that before they come around with their meats.
Yeah.
I was emphatic this year. I said, I'm not touching the salad bar. No. My cheeks hit the seat. I'm not leaving until I'm checking out. I only want the meat.
I like it.
So I'm not going Pizza Hut for a salad bar, I'll tell you.
So I agree with Vontel that Pizza Hut is better than Papa John's and Domino's. But I also will say this: Pizza Hut is not as good as you remember it. It's one of those things where you're like, man, you like have this nostalgic thought, Pizza Hut, right? Like, man, I love that growing up. But then you get it and you're like, not that good. And then in 2 years, you'll be like, man, Pizza Hut sounds good. And then you get it again, you're like, not that good. But I do think the correct order here is Pizza Hut, Domino's, Papa John's in terms of those three.
Do you remember when they first started doing stuffed crust?
Oh, it just changed your life. Yeah. Change your life, right? When
like
you get
earth-shattering,
you're reading books for a personal pan pizza. You did that, right? You know, whatever that was going on. Did you do this in elementary school? You read a book, like a certain amount of books or whatever. You got to redeem it for a personal pan pizza.
Yep.
It's good stuff, man.
And they stuffed the crust. They stuffed it with like pepperoni or sausage too, not just cheese.
I don't know if I've ever seen that. I've only seen the cheese stuffed.
The breadsticks are good at Pizza Hut too.
Here's a take. Little Caesars is better than all of them. If you want like chain pizza, give me the Little Caesars, man. It's low key good.
That was the one when I was in elementary school. That was the close pizza establishment that was down the street that we always got. So I got a soft spot for Little Caesars.
It's good.
What is that? The mascot's fun. Like the pizza, right? Like
right. It's good stuff, man. The whole thing, the brand, you know. I'm in.
Best frozen pizza. I'm sorry, we're bombing the entire segment too here, but
DiGiorno's. I think it is DiGiorno's.
I think yeah. I'm with you on DiGiorno. Sometimes you take it out a little earlier than it's done, and the crust is still like not doughy, but I prefer a soft crust versus like the really hard, like
I'm with you. Yeah.
Crunchy crust at the bottom.
You mostly get that from frozen pizzas. So
yeah. All right, I'm good. I'm done.
Gurdon says what?
The cheesy bite pizzas from Pizza Hut? Or like it's the stuffed crust, but they're like little like poppers.
Oh, yeah. I don't need that. Yeah, I'd rather have the full. I want the regular crust.
You want the actual pie.
Yeah, I don't want the bites.
All right, I'm done.
Gurdon says, according to ESPN bets, the NFC North current win totals are as follows: Lions 10.5, Packers 9.5, Bears 8.5, Vikings 8.5. The take here is that the whole division will have a winning record.
I'm always going to sell this. You can give this to me any division, any year, and I'll say there's too much that can go wrong. If all the teams are good, the margin for error is going to be really small. I'm going to fade it.
There might even be two teams with a losing record here. I'm not here to piss off anybody, and it's March. It's not time for that.
Sounds like you're taking shots at the Windy City.
Certainly not. I mean, obviously they've done. Dude, they got Caleb Williams, the coach. They got in the O-line. Are you kidding me? Number 1 overall talent like that. They're going to be just fine there in Chicago. August says Armand Membu, that's the offensive tackle from Missouri, has a better chance of sticking at left tackle in the league than Will Campbell does. I would like to take this opportunity to push back at Will Campbell. He came through with a quote this week and said, all of a sudden my arm length has been measured and it's suddenly a thing. No, Will, anybody that ever watched your tape said, you know what? I don't know that this guy has the length to play tackle in the NFL. Let's not act like this is something that randomly happened because your arms were finally measured. The first thing I thought of when I started watching you play football was that your arms weren't the requisite length to play left tackle in the NFL. Doesn't mean I don't like the rest of the player. You're really high on my board, but come on. This isn't a new conversation at all.
Yeah. And I remember having these conversations with you where I had a really hard time reconciling Will Campbell. And then once I decided you're going to be inside at guard, you're more of a Pete Skoronski type. I liked you a lot more.
Yes.
Once I kind of embraced that path. You know what he is from a wingspan perspective?
What is it?
He's like 0th percentile wingspan for
what are we talking about, dude? What are we talking about?
The arm length is fine, but the wingspan is small.
Make it like everybody woke up and decided that they'd be concerned about your arm length.
What was the other one that I got on my timeline? Oh, somebody was talking about Mason Taylor. And somebody was like, nobody knew who this guy was until the combine. I'm
really?
Yeah.
Really?
Anybody who's watching college football and knows the draft and is prepping for prospects probably has receipts of 18 months ago talking about how physically talented Mason Taylor is as a freshman tight end from LSU.
Yeah, he's a sleeper tight end out of LSU that is NFL bloodlines. Nobody's ever heard of this guy.
Who cares if he ran a 4.59 or a 4.65 at the combine? Nobody knew who he was until the pre-draft process. I was like, okay.
Okay, yeah.
The talking points get amplified, but that does not change the fact that they existed before the collective football world plugged into them,
Right. And I didn't even follow college football closely over the last 2
And
years.
you knew who Mason
I knew
Taylor
who
was, didn't
freaking
you?
Mason Taylor was because
Yeah.
I paid a little bit of attention. All right, we're talking all kinds of stuff here.
Pizza?
Abdul Carter. We're talking sausage, egg, and cheese versus bacon, egg, and cheese. That's probably the most important thing. We'll get to that here in just a moment, folks. Be sure to stick with us.
All right, so you have to get 3 toppings on the pie.
Pizza?
What are the 3 toppings going on your pie? You have to get 3. So you can't just be like, oh, give me extra cheese and I'm done.
No, that's lame. I would do pepperoni, mushrooms, and banana peppers.
Okay.
What about you?
I would probably do extra cheese, sausage, and green peppers or mushrooms. I've got to flex with the vegetable.
So more cheese, sausage,
and either green peppers or mushrooms. I could do black olives too. I get down with black olives.
Really? I like them more on like a sub than I would a pizza. Interesting. So you're a sausage.
Subway out as a sponsor for NFL. I don't know if you saw that.
Subway.
I think it was.
When's the last time have you been to Subway lately? That's terrible.
Yeah, no. Jersey Mike's took the
there we go. We upgraded.
Sponsor.
That's a big upgrade. Big upgrade. Boy.
I agree with that take as well because I'm out on Subway in general.
Subway's been terrible for a long time. Remember like when we were all duped into thinking it was like a healthy option? We're growing up. You go to the gym, get the Subway, $5 footlong, babe. You're eating healthy here.
Get extra meat so they could put 4 slices of meat on it instead of 2.
Right. And then, dude, the sandwich artists at Subway have been having a competition for the last 20 years over who could put the most lettuce on your salad. It's like, come on, now back it off here. I would like to have a little bit of lettuce to go with this. I don't need a friggin' salad on there.
I got to take, and then we should probably do the other food take and then get back to football.
Okay, we can.
Quiznos is exponentially better than Subway.
You've been in on this Quiznos, man. I had Quiznos one time.
That's your problem. You probably had one bad.
You don't really have it around here, man. It's not really a thing. It's not available to me. Kyle's Googling Quiznos near Charlotte, North Carolina. I don't think you're going to find any of them. You're not going to find any. The closest one might be in Pennsylvania.
1525 West W.T. Harris Boulevard, Charlotte.
No way.
It's got 2 stars. All right, I might have to fade the take with you. You're not going to buy.
Yeah.
What else
last food thing. We'll talk football the rest of the way. Ryan says sausage, egg, and cheese is far, capitalized far, better than bacon, egg, and cheese because of the consistent texture and more sandwich area being covered by the sausage.
Give me bacon. I'll take bacon.
I'm with you on the bacon. I think there is so much variance in sausage. Like there's sometimes the sausage is good, but sometimes it's not. And I think it's a fair angle to talk about like the surface area. I think that's a good part of what you're trying to talk about. But if the sausage is bad, it's not really going to work for me. And bacon's pretty consistent. So that's my take on that. Bojangles has terrible sausage, by the way. I think that's deplorable, to be honest with you.
It looks like the closest open Quiznos to you is in Fayetteville.
We ain't going to Fayetteville. That's not close. That's no hop, skip,
There's about 50 on the map, and they're all permanently closed, and some of them are relabeled on the map as just delete, permanently closed.
Yeah, all right. You can see it's been a struggle for Quiznos down here.
It's your fault. You didn't buy enough. You put them all out of business.
They toast your sub. I remember that was the big appeal there. All right, football the rest of the way here. Chris, and I hopefully you can answer this because I don't have a take here.
Okay.
JJ, is it Pegues? This is the Ole Miss D tackle.
Yes.
This is the take. He will be more of a two-way player in the NFL than Travis Hunter. What's this rooted in? Tell us what the heck's going on here. Why is he saying this?
They do short yardage stuff with him.
Oh, is he like a fullback or does he play O-line or what?
They direct snap to him.
No way.
So he'll line up in
a D tackle?
Yeah.
This is a real thing?
I'll show you this.
I need to watch. What I learned is that I need to watch all the Ole Miss football this year. It sounds like fun things were happening.
Lane Kiffin, man. The lane train's was going crazy this year with the creativity, but yeah, they would direct snap to him like in short yardage and on the goal line, and he'd go rumbling in. And
he scored some touchdowns.
Yes, I think he had like 7 rushing touchdowns this year or something like that.
What?
Yeah.
7?
Now, I will pass on him being more of a short yardage or a two-way player than Travis
They were
Hunter.
10-3. It was a pretty good season, right?
Yeah, they dropped the ball. They dropped the game late. That kind of cost them a playoff spot.
Wow. All right. Now we'll see if they get a new quarter. They got obviously a ton of talent to replace, so we'll see what they do. But you're selling this. You're saying no, like probably not even going to get to do that even one time in the NFL, right? Is there something about JJ Pegues that makes him a candidate to do this over any other defensive tackle that's decently athletic?
Experience, right?
Because he's done it.
Dude, it was that Florida game. They lost it. They lost in Florida, and Jackson Dart threw like 3 dumb picks in the final quarter of the game. They lost by a touchdown. They were ranked number 9.
Oh man.
And it knocked them to 16 or 15, and then they were on the outside in for the playoff as a result because they lost that game.
I'm sure there was some controversy of people wanting them to get in. I would guess, right?
Yeah, a very talented football team. Yeah.
All right. Sam Teets, yes.
Teets.
Yep. Abdul Carter doubles Jared versus sack total, which was 4.5, but doesn't eclipse the 60 pressure mark, which 17 players hit in 2024, including Verse, because he will lack Verse's supporting cast and end up having more splash moments, but less down-to-down impact.
Are we at all worried that Carter's not participating in the pro day now?
Yeah, we should be
he didn't
worried about that.
Participate in the combine, and then it came out like the first morning of the combine. He had like the medical thing with the foot, and he was going to need surgery. And then 12 hours later, they said, never mind, he doesn't need surgery anymore, but he's still recovering from the shoulder issue that he had, and he's going to blow up his pro day. And then they came out yesterday and said he's not going to participate in the pro day because he's still fixing the shoulder. And just, if he's on the field, he should have no problem being the most productive pass rusher, even especially because of Cleveland.
What do you think his floor is?
Draft wise?
Yeah.
New England.
4 to New England. He doesn't get past them.
Yeah.
I tend to agree with that. The only what makes that weird is if for some reason we get 3 quarterbacks in a row and then New England has a choice of all the non-quarterbacks.
They go
ahead. You think they would go Abdul Carter over Travis Hunter?
I think so.
All right.
They do.
Last one here is from Liam.
Eichenberg.
I didn't know if you were going to go Cohen, Eichenberg, Hemsworth.
Give me the next name that came out of my mouth. Yeah.
Yeah, I was curious. This might be a new thing. Give you the first name and see what Kyle fills it in.
First thing that comes out.
Yeah. Little word association to go with our takes on takes. Liam says the 5th-year option should be like the franchise tag, where teams can assign it to one player from the corresponding draft class that is eligible for that year, rather than it being just the first-round pick. It would reward teams for drafting well on day 2 and 3.
You know what it would not reward? The players who get drafted in the first round.
Well, do you think that they should be rewarded for being drafted in the first round? Like, do you think, should they? This is it's for the teams, right? The 5th-year option is for the team, although I feel like a lot of the players like it when it gets picked up. I feel like they're generally
it's added security, fully guaranteed, and it's equal in some cases to like the total value of your 4-year rookie contract.
So it's a win for both sides. So then
I think the downside is if it's a player that was not picked in the first round, they probably either want to get the franchise tag at a higher dollar amount, or they would like to hit the open market.
Yeah. I like that they have that. Is it the proven performance escalator? I think that's a good thing.
For the year 4 of those contracts. Yeah.
That's a good thing. Cause it's
necessary for some of these guys that come, like Brock Purdy is a great example, right? Like Brock would have played for $1.05 million in year 4 if they didn't have a performance escalator.
Yeah.
But in reality, he's scheduled. What is it? It's close to $5 million, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
Bills had James Cook and Terrell Bernard both got it. And it's like, yeah, that makes sense, right?
Or like, I know Miami had it with Cater Coe, who is an undrafted,
especially for a guy like that, right?
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, you're playing for $840K, and then you go out and you play 70% of the snaps and become a starter as a rookie.
Yeah,
like there's no small deal.
Something's not adding up here. I think that's a good thing. Okay, so what do we think about the take? Should you be able to apply the 5th-year option for any rookie? No. And why do you say no?
Because I feel like for players drafted in the first round, that is a part of the structure of their contract. And then for the players not drafted in the first round, you're putting them in position to lose money if they get franchise tagged, or potentially lose the multiple years of guaranteed money, make them wait an extra year to get to receive it.
I don't know if I'm buying that. Like, if it's a benefit to the players in the first round, it would be a benefit to the players drafted in any round.
Yeah, but they made less money in the first 4 years.
So you think the opportunity to just go ahead and get the extension done is the win there?
Yes. Nobody plays for a fifth-year option. They play for the second contract. Am I giving
so then I think, is it true that it's good for the player if they gets picked up in the first round? Like, we just talked about how that's a good thing for them, but also,
I don't know, if you want to use a fifth-year option on a player not drafted in the first round, just use the franchise tag on the player.
I agree with that.
There's no need to do this.
So is the better conversation to be having right now is, should we get rid of the fifth-year option? Like, get your deals done.
I think that's exponentially better for the players, and that's the frame of mind that I'm thinking of when I'm arguing against this idea. The teams are going to hate the idea of getting rid of fifth-year option because they love using the franchise tag. It's a cheaper equivalent to a franchise tag for a smaller group of players.
And arguably for a player, you probably want to do it on more because they're younger, right? Like, you get the more time if you want.
It's an extra potential year of player control, and then like you could use the franchise tag for that player twice on top of that. Now you're at 7 years of control for a player.
If there's anything the NFL should have learned over the last 5 years, if he's your guy, he's your guy, and try to get the extension done as early as possible.
Pay him now. Don't wait.
Don't wait.
We are not going to wait to wrap this up. We're done here this week. Locked on NFL Scouting. We're going to get into some more draft preview stuff next week. We're looking forward to that. Kyle Krabs, Joe Marino. Appreciate you guys as always for checking out the show. Make it a great rest of your day. Enjoy the weekend ahead. We'll talk to you all again on Monday.